Yep, and we are about to be loaded into Altitude, one of our biggest maps. And we are spawning in the top right. I totally didn't mess up the hotkeys. And we are looking at, once again, a red player. For some reason, it's always the red player today. And that red player is a red Protoss. It is Creator.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Altitude, we have the best player in the world. We have the Finnish Zerg representing Team Basilisk. It is Serral. Best Zerg in the world. I'll temper it. I'll temper it a little bit. Best Zerg.
Yeah, I was
in the
gonna
world.
say that. Is he currently best player? Like I don't know. Like there are a few contestants.
True. You're not wrong. I'll say best Zerg in the world, and I think we can all get behind that. Oh,
you think Serral is better than Dark?
Yes. I don't see many people saying otherwise.
What about Raynor?
Yeah, Raynor as well. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Fair enough.
So yeah, here we go. This is going to be a really interesting one because we were talking about it. Creator, I talk about this a lot with Asher, with Yaku as well. Creator, he's a hipster when it comes to a lot of matchups. You know, I'm not saying he can't play like Hero. He can, but he usually doesn't. He usually has like his own way of playing, his own openers as well, that he does love to mix in.
You say he can play like Hero, but like, isn't Hero himself a hipster? Like he makes a build, like it's really like quirky. He uses it, it works. People start copying it, and then Hero moves on to the next one because I mean, too many copycats.
Yeah. Creator is kind of like that, except no one copies him.
Oh.
He does his own thing, and yeah, I'm really curious to see how Serral can handle that. So what I mean by that is typically Creator, he's one to have more unique compositions as well and follow-ups to builds. He can be very ground toss oriented, but in a very different way, and I'm sure we can see that for ourselves once we do get into this series. +1 7-gate Blink Stalker and like Oracle into Blink Stalker and stuff like that isn't really something we see too often from Creator. Doesn't mean that he doesn't do it. He does, but like, he likes to mix it up.
Yeah, for now we do have a Stargate, so we will have those early Stargate units coming up. And as you said, we'll see what he will transition into from there.
Yeah, here we go. There's going to be that Stargate opener that we all know and love. But we'll see if he does commit to the double or even triple Oracle opener, or if he goes for something a little bit different. As the initial adepters across the map, we did see a hatch gas pool opener here from Serral. I say that it was actually a 15 hatch from Serral, so he actually pulled a little bit of an Eric just to make sure that his hatchery got down on time, on location.
Yeah, have you noticed that now all the Zerg players are doing the 15 hatch thing? Like after Eric started doing it, like now Serral does it. Recently there was a laser stream where he also did it, like the whole stream.
To be fair, like Eric's been doing it for a while. It was after Pig made a video about it. Pig like kind of like put a spotlight on Eric, and after that, it has been all the craze amongst a lot of Zerg players out there. We haven't seen it too much amongst the Korean Zergs, but we have seen a lot of the other foreign European Zergs embrace it.
Yeah, I just find it funny that I'm seeing it everywhere now. Like after that video on Eric, like suddenly everybody does it.
It's good. As we're getting into this, and we do have an Oracle first here from Creator. He's just going to be establishing and setting up this third base. We do have a second Oracle coming up behind this. And we're going into a 3-gate follow-up here. Interesting. We're actually going to be delaying our Twilight Council and delaying our tech.
Okay. But so what are we going with? We're not getting a robot, so we're not gonna have a war piece for like reinforcements. We're not gonna have like Twilight upgrades for a while, so what are we going for?
Yeah, so again, really interesting here from Creator. Again, he is purposely delaying his tech. I'm sure we're going to get it at some point, but for the time being, he's going to be relying on, warp-ins and defending his third base back at home. I'm curious to see where he takes this. I'm curious to see why he prioritized that third gateway as well, as we do have our first Oracle going across the map, just kind of dipping in, looking for some damage, but the defense from Serral is too good. There are queens all over the place. He beautifully defends his 3 bases, and he's even going for that Roach Horn, a safety Roach Horn here.
Yeah, yeah. And Creator does drop down that Robo, and we have a lot of Adepts on the way, but I don't think we will be seeing Glaives, are we?
Well, yeah, so that was the purpose of that third gateway. So he goes for a mass amount of Glaiveless vanilla Adepts first, and he's going to be aggressive here with these Adepts and his Oracles behind this. He's going for that Robo transition. I imagine he's going to be getting into Immortal production, as again, he is one of the, that's what I mean, like, he's very, like, ground Robo heavy kind of Protoss player, and yeah, we'll see if he does get into that.
Yeah, but looks he didn't commit to that shade. He only distracted Serral a little, so these oracles can get a few kills. Only 2 drones fall in the end. There you go. But it's still a little bit of a distraction to Serral. But he is now on his way to Creator's base.
Yeah, Creator, he respects the link count. He backs off. He's going to keep these Adepts alive and keep them tucked away here at the third base. Meanwhile, we now have a transition. It was a Robo first, and we're getting a Prism, which again is really odd. So he's going to be aggressive with vanilla gateway units initially, just to keep the pressure on. Behind this, he's getting into a delayed +1 and a delayed Twilight Council for Blink or Charge.
In before Glaives. That would be funny.
That would be
interesting. The Oracles actually do stick into the main base, and they will be able to snipe quite a few drones.
Oh yeah, but at the cost of both Oracles. That's a big loss here for Creator. And this is what I'm talking about. So Creator, he gets a Twilight Council, but for one reason. He's delaying Charge, because I'm sure he's going to get into that soon, but he goes into a faster Templar Archives instead.
Okay. So, but is it for High Templars or just for Archons?
I do think that's going to be for both Templar and Archons. Initially, we're going to be going for a slow Zealot drop into the main base. And again, this Prism Harass can level up here once the Templar Archives finishes. I imagine we are going to be warping in some of those Archons or some of those High Templar for Archons.
Yeah, and 2 of them are already going out, and we have the Immortal production. We have a second Robo on the way, so we will be having that double Immortal production, I assume, and we're even making a Phoenix.
Yeah, we're getting a Phoenix here to clear out any kind of Overlords. We've got those Immortals being produced, as you were saying, second Robo on the way. The first Archon has arrived as well, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, again, he's not playing with Blink, he's not playing with Charge either, which is very meta, very standard in this matchup, and he may be punished for it because Serral is going for a massive push across the map. He's going to be waddling those Queens.
Oh, but the Phoenix does spot that one Overlord that was carrying the Queens, and he will delay them quite a bit as the Roaches are already at the base.
Yeah, but without Blink, without Charge, without too many Immortals, like, it feels like Creator was maybe just a little bit too greedy. The Roaches, they push on forward. Shield batteries are doing what they can. We have the Overcharge as well.
Yeah, I don't think Creator has enough army here. The Immortal is joining in a second one as well, but there's only 2 of them against all of these Roaches.
Yeah, and Immortals are good, but they need support behind them as well. But here we go, the Stalkers come in. It looks like Creator has enough to hold.
Yeah, just enough. This Warp is gonna be sniped most likely. Oh, maybe it will be safe.
I mean, the Queens are being focused down, so there's just not enough anti-air to deal with this Prism. The Immortals push on forward. The first Archon goes down. Creator does have to be careful. He does save those Immortals.
Yeah, he saves the Immortals. He moves back to the shield batteries, and he will try to keep these Roaches at bay. He barely has enough units to do so.
Yeah, it's so difficult to defend against this without Blink, so very impressive that Creator was able to barely control those Stalkers and pick them up and use pseudo-Blink with that Prism as he's trying to hunt down this Queen.
This is adventurous. This was very adventurous with those 2 Immortals.
Yeah, if he got the Queen, that would have been great, but the Queen survives, and now Serral can spread creep backwards from across the map.
Oh, light. Serral just made mass drop Lords.
Yeah, we have a massive Roach drop headed towards the main base. At the same time, the main army is going to be distracting Creator here at that third base, or in between the third and the fourth. The Immortal count is getting very high. Again, he's just going mass Immortal, and this is a great army against Roaches. But will he be able to keep up with this drop?
Yeah, like, it's a great army, but it's a great army if it can be there, but it is busy defending the third or fourth base. Meanwhile, the drop is unloading in the main base.
Yeah, we have the massive Doom drop into the main. Even Contaminate on +2. We are going to be forcing the recall, but how much is going to be left here in between the bases because Serral still has another army?
Yeah, 3 Immortals were left, and the Roaches are right on top of the Nexus, so they were able to snipe one of the Immortals quite easily, but 2 of them are still alive.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Serral is now pushing in with his main army, and Creator is being pulled apart. He does have 3 Immortals here, but no shield battery, nothing to support him. They're so exposed.
Yeah, there's 1 shield battery, but it's not quite enough against all of these Roaches, and the rest of the army is still trying to catch up, coming back from the main.
Yeah, 3 Immortals go down. That was an expensive loss from Creator, and Serral is not slowing down. He's going to be rotating over towards that triangular third base. Shield barriers are falling left and right, and behind this, Serral still doesn't have an amazing drone count. He is transitioning. He's going to a Spire and into a Hive.
Yeah, so this is not the final army of Serral. This is just supposed to do damage, and damage it does. It may even deny this charge.
That charge was so delayed this game, and it looks like it's going to be delayed even further as it does get denied. We're going to have vanilla gateway units all around here as Serral is still pressuring that third base as well. The Immortal count isn't as high as it once was.
Yeah, it's not. And as I feel like a big problem of the defense here is that because Serral went for drops, like it's very hard for this entire ground army to move between the bases because obviously you can only load a few of them into the Warp Breeze and you can only recall so many times. So Serral attacking from different places is the worst case for Creator.
Yeah, it's actually really smart of Serral because it's abusing the fact that there's no blink. Like, because there's no blink, because there's no charge, like, Serral is just pulling Creator apart. Creator has been relying on recalls instead to try to keep up with this, and it's just not going to be good enough. The Bios connect on these Stalkers as well. We do see Creator trying to come in from behind with his army, trying to set up a surround, but Serral does catch wind of it. He does back off.
Yeah, and it's also like this army is struggling to keep up with the attacks of Serral, and he will catch some of these Roaches, but at the same time he is losing probes at his base.
He is losing workers, but bearing in mind that Serral was pretty committed with this. He cut workers at 66. He doesn't have a good economy behind this. His economy is actually worse than Creator, so even after losing 6 workers, Creator is still ahead. He still has a better army as well because that Immortal count is insane. Roaches are not going to be lasting against this at all.
Okay. Creator did manage to bank a few Immortals, so that will be definitely helpful. There is an Archon here to defend as well, so Roaches can just freely go in.
Yeah, and it looks like
Serral... he's keeping Serral at bay.
Yeah, Serral has recognized that, again, he can't really fight this army. He's trying to transition into Broodlords. We do have the Greater Spire on the way. Serral has been banking up a lot of gas for this, but the Greater Spire isn't done yet, and Creator is going for a big counterattack.
Yeah, he has to be careful with the bias, but he does dodge most of the shots, and he will be able to push forward into the bases of Serral.
Yeah, exactly. Serral does have 5 Broodlords on the way, but they need a little bit more time. Serral is buying time here by fighting on top of this ramp. He has a better concave. Files are connecting as well on these Immortals, and Creator will rotate over. He will eventually encroach on these bases, but by the time he does, the Broodlords are going to be out.
Yeah, Blink is halfway done, so it will be done eventually, but there are not a lot of Stalkers here anymore, so even if he is able to blink under the Broodlords, I'm not sure he will be able to snipe them.
Yeah, Creator's going for a Skytoss transition, which is good, but this may just be a little bit too late. Roaches are rushing across the map for a counterattack. They still creep all over the place because of that earlier push. The Broodlords, I don't think they've been revealed yet, as the Broodlords are pushing on forward now, but the Phoenixes do pull back in time.
Yeah, the Phoenixes will definitely help with the Broodlords, but Creator is distracted with another attack of the Roaches, and we'll be losing more workers, it looks like. At the same time, Serral is just marching forward.
Yeah, and this may just be the checkmate move because, again, Creator still hasn't seen the Broodlords. He still doesn't know until now. Now he finally does catch wind of them. He finally knows, but he doesn't really have the best army for Broodlords.
Yeah, he has these 3 Phoenixes, which will be able to deal some damage, but there are Queens that will be zoning them out. Tempests are on the way, but they are not done yet.
Yeah, exactly. We needed more Stalkers. We needed Void Rays even. We needed faster anti-air. The Broodlords will reign supreme behind this. Serral is expanding. He still doesn't really have high of a drone count. Like, he's still pretty committed with this. So we'll see how he does. His Phoenixes are going to go down.
Interesting choice by Serral where he takes Hydra then right now. Ooh. Sniping a few Broodlords, but still 4 of them are alive and Queens are moving forward.
Queens are moving forward. Meanwhile, looks like one of those immortals did go down. Creator was having a hard time microing on two fronts at once. Serral laying siege upon that third base once again. The first Tempest is out, but there's still only one Tempest.
Yeah, there is one Tempest, and it's not even focusing the Broodlords. It's just, you know, fighting with the rest of the army. And as we know, Tempests are not very fast at shooting, so I don't know if they can quite get to the Broodlords in time.
Yeah, we will see as all the Stalkers do catch a Queen. They do blink on forward, and they're able to get quite a lot of value here. They even get a Ravager as well, but the Lings are looking to punish these Stalkers as Serral is committing to this.
Yeah, and he will get a lot of these Stalkers indeed, a lot of them going down, so that's that much less anti-air for Creator. He does have those Tempests though, and he will be getting more.
Yeah, Creator's trying to set up a surround. Serral was punishing Creator for splitting up his army when he was trading very well against Creator. Meanwhile, that Broodlord count is getting higher and higher. We have 7 Broodlords already. We're about to have 11.
Yeah, the Creator is switching to Void Rays. He's getting static defense, and I don't know who's in good position here, really.
Well, Serral, because Creator hasn't gotten into Skytoss yet. He's only got 1 Void Ray right now. He's got 2 more and a carrier on the way. Like, Creator needs time, and he needs an economy to sustain his Skytoss, and he just hasn't really been able to get into it. He has a really good anti-ground army because of all these immortals, but he doesn't have a good anti-Broodlord army. Not yet. And yeah, he just needs time before he really gets that.
Yeah, he tries to make a lot run by on this new base of Serral, but there are not a lot of workers here still, and the Broodlord army is there to defend. The Roaches are once again moving into Creator's bases, and there are some Stalkers to defend, but it's not enough.
Yeah, exactly. The Roaches are going uncontested, but at the same time, Creator is rotating over on the left-hand side. Stalkers are just trying to keep these Roaches busy. The Void Rays are enough to shoo them away, but Serral is getting into Broodlord Infestor, a very cost-efficient army, even though I'm really impressed. Like, Serral has stayed on a sub-66 drone count the entire game, and he's been able to sustain all these tech transitions. He's just been trading that efficiently. That's why he can afford this. It's crazy.
Yeah, like his fights were going pretty well for him. And he will be getting this one. Oh, careful about the Barons, almost walked into their own.
Yeah, it's just been really impressive. We can see here that the Protoss has been losing more gas. The Protoss has been losing more minerals as well. Even with a Roach Ravager army, an army that isn't typically very efficient. Like, Serral has been doing so much with it. And here we go. Once again, he's diving on forward. He's looking to punish these Tempests.
Yeah, and there's only 2 of them, and they will be falling down. The single Void Ray is not gonna help, and now the Archons are fungal as well.
Yeah, the Archons, the Probes are fungal, and we do see a massive punish here for this overextension. Serral, again, just trading so efficiently. He gets 2 Archons and 8 Probes.
Yeah, the Creator tries to deny another base on the other side of the map, but there is Roach army to respond, and the Void Ray is focusing the base, but I don't think it can get it.
Yeah, it looks like the Roach army is going to be punished a little bit. The Void Rays are going to be going down to these Corruptors, but the Archon's actually going to be able to zone them away as well. So a good moment here for Creator. He takes down a lot of these Corruptors.
He does, and Serral will be remaking them, but he also has another tag in his back pocket because he did get those lurker upgrades, and he will be getting some lurkers as well, which will be great against this ground army that Creator still has.
Yeah, Creator is trying to, again, he's still trying to get into Skytoss. We'll see if he can, because that will work against the Hydra Lurker Viper, the potential Lurker army that's going to be coming out. Meanwhile, the Void Rays, once again, they overextend. They're going to be going down. We do get the base, but Creator, he's going to get out of here.
Oh, he's gonna lose a lot of the Immortals. The carrier will be going down as well, and that's a lot of the army, a lot of the very high-tech units that are going down.
Yeah, this may just be a Creator. He's going to lose everything. GG gets called, and Serral takes game number 1.
GG. This was like a very patient game, but, you know, very good game from Serral, where he was trading very well the entire time.
Yeah, this was a very weird game. This was very unorthodox. So Serral was staying on a very low drone count the entire game, but he was able to despite that, going to the late game just because of how efficient he was. Like, he was fighting so goddamn well, better than I think anyone else could. It's something you very rarely see, and because of that, even though he was staying on a really low drone count, like, he was able to sustain all this tech, all these transitions, this army. Really impressive stuff. Meanwhile, Creator was doing Creator things. As I mentioned before, the composition from Creator was very unique. No one does this. No one goes Mass Immortal the way that Creator does, because typically you'd be going into like Disruptor and Colossi and just, you know, there are just better army compositions, but Creator, he just has his own way of doing things, and he had a really solid anti-ground Zerg army, but Broodlords like really messed him up. Like, Creator was very unprepared for that kind of army.
Oh yeah, Disruptors would do quite well there. I mean, like, Serral was always attacking with these big armies of like big like groups of roaches. I'm missing a word there, which Disruptors could definitely help with.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, like any other Protoss player would go Disruptors. Like, Hero would, Classic would, you know, Max Packs would. But I think Creator doesn't, because I think he just doesn't like them. I think he just enjoys using this kind of army instead. Like, there's a reason why, like, he decides not to play like everyone else, because he just has, you know, I think he just prefers this style. And he can make it work like no other. I mean, he almost pulled it off here against Serral. It's just Serral was so quick to transition his tech and recognize like the weaknesses behind Creator's army. As we're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have our South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. It is Creator.
And at the bottom right of Dragon Scales, we have our red Zerg player. Currently up 1-0 after a very interesting game 1. Representing Basilisk and Finland, it is Serral.
Let's go. We'll see if this time Creator gets a Twilight Council upgrade. Or when he gets it as well. Because again, that's also a very Creator out of last game, where literally no one else out there would be delaying their Twilight Council and delaying their upgrades in favor of more Immortals and more Archons. Like, again, it's like Creator was going for a very high-tech, like very small but really powerful army, and building outwards from there into eventually getting like Charge and Blink and stuff like that. Again, very unique, very unique.
Yeah, very different than what most Protosses do these days. And as you said, we'll see if that is something he wants to go for this time as well. As I assume Serral will go for more of the same, like more of the roach attacks, probably.
We'll see, because again, we mentioned it earlier, but what Serral was doing was also really unorthodox. Like, he was, again, really all in. He was like hyper aggressive because he was on a really low drone count. So it was kind of crazy how that was how that dynamic was working out. You never really see that between a Zerg and a Protoss. So I don't think we're ever going to see a game like that, actually. Period. So really, just because it requires so many things to go so many different ways. So yeah, like a one-of-a-kind ZvP in game 1. But we're going to be also getting into this, and a massive shout out to Ashedi in the chat, because Ashedi he's throwing around subs in the chat. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for all the gifted subs, and thanks for a gift sub to me as well, because I have not been a sub recently. You know, budgeting.
It's just true, it's true. But thank you so much, Ashedi, for gifting the sub to both Kuro and for Yaku as well. Thank you, Ashedi. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and with that, we do have a Twilight Council from Creator.
Yeah, so Creator is going to be very aggressive, but oh, Serral, he slips into the main base. He gets eyes on the Twilight Council. He's aware of the opener. And he's aware that Serral is now aware that he's going to need to throw down a Roach Warren in a couple of minutes. And he's going to have to get ready here for what Creator is about to send out.
What do you think it is? Is it Glaives?
It could be Glaives, could be a DT opener. But oh, there we go.
Not Glaives. I feel like after the last game, I just got the feeling that Creator enjoys playing with Adepts. He said he didn't really like disruptors. I think he may be liking adepts. So we'll see if they can work for him better than last game, because last game they were a little late. They didn't have the glaives and they couldn't really get into the bases of Serral. But maybe this time he can catch him.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, so because Serral scattered with his Ling, like he knows to be ready for this, and he throws down his Roach Warren at around the 3-minute 30 mark, so a really well-timed Roach Warren. He's got his Lair on the way as well, so in case it is DTs, he will have access to Overseer, so he's getting ready for both because he doesn't know which one it is. And he should be cutting workers momentarily as well. 40 drones is a really good drone count to stop at, and that is where Serral is stopping for the time being.
And he will be making the roaches from there, I assume. And once again, we see if Creator can get something done, as the roaches are already on the way, so they will be prepared by the time the adepts are reaching the other side of the map, but they can still overpower them.
Yeah, and this is going to be all in. This is not 4-gate Glaive Adept, this is 6-gate Glaive Adept, so this is very committed out of Creator. He's going to be sending everything he has across the map to try to end the game. But Serral's also ready for this. Like, he even has SimCity. It only takes one Evo Chamber to wall off that natural and to stop a Shade. So Serral, even with a Roach army, and he's but he's being a little bit greedy. Serral is droning. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and the roaches are in the middle of the map. Will the adepts may try to snipe them actually?
The tumor was in the way. Okay.
Creator didn't commit to the Shade.
He didn't commit, but now Serral is ready to wall off. That tumor almost killed Serral, but he does kill the tumor in the end, thankfully.
Yeah, but okay, the wall is now finished. There are still a lot of adepts though, so they may just try to fight these roaches.
Yeah, I mean, with 6-gate Glaive Adepts, like, we can fight roaches in low numbers. We can even see Serral is forcing the all-in. He's spreading creep here at the third base location just to make sure that if Creator wants to try to back out of this, he can't. And he won't, because he warps in another wave of Adepts. Like, he's still very committed, very all-in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like Serral has to be careful, because maybe that is what Creator wants, and he is sniping these roaches one by one. Now the Queens are joining in together with their reinforcements. The adepts are starting to fall down though.
Yeah, again, Serral was very greedy to drone up, to drone up to 50 workers. It was wild, but we'll see if he can get away with it, because he does commit to the Shade, but the wall was a wall. The adepts, or some of them did get into the main.
Some of them did, and more of them are gonna get into the natural, because the wall is not completed in time, and yeah, Creator can just freely Shade between the bases.
Yeah, he can. We have another massive warping into the main base as well. This is getting a little bit out of hand because drones are finally going to be going down. We can afford to lose 5, but we can't afford to lose more. And Creator is going to be targeting down those drones.
Yeah, 15 drones falling down. The adepts in the main were never cleared up, and the drones are just easy pickings.
Yeah, and this is game-ending damage. Creator, he's already done so much for himself. The Adepts are looking to clean up whatever is left. Serral is down to 33 workers. He does have a large Roach army, though, so he can go for a bit of a counterattack, but Creator is already working on his Immortals back at home.
Yeah, as you said, Creator likes his robo units, so he's getting those Immortals ready. And the Adepts are not going anywhere. The wall is still not a wall, so he just shades once again into the natural.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Serral just wasn't able to keep up in the end. The Glaive Adepts were too much for him. His Roaches do go for a counterattack. He does spot that third base, and he's going to be looking for a cancel. It looks like he will force the cancel.
Okay, so third base for Creator is cancelled. The War Prince is actually in a bit of a danger because there are a lot of queens on Serral's side of the map, but Serral is also not able to breach the defenses of Creator.
Yeah, exactly. Because of that Immortal, Serral is stuck outside the natural, but he can continue to deny the third base, and oh, Creator, he doesn't know. He doesn't know that there's creep here, so this third is still going to be even further delayed for Creator. He has to clean up this Overlord and wait for the creep to recede. Meanwhile, across the map, Creator once again just threatening the mineral lines here of Serral, and Serral is forced to drone, and he's actually got a way to come back.
Okay. I mean, Creator does have a robo, but has he made any observers?
He has one observer out on the map right now. Creator, he hasn't seen too much though. He hasn't seen, or he hasn't rechecked the roach one because there isn't really much reason to, but it at least does have detection available. So Serral is looking to get into tunneling claw of roaches, and this is how he is planning to come back economically in this game.
Yeah, and I could definitely see that happen. The wall is not blocked at the natural of Creator, so I could definitely see those bird roaches sneaking into the bases and causing a lot of chaos, but now Creator is trying to push forward towards Serral, and does Serral have enough to defend here?
Yeah, Serral's been able to drone up to 63, and we've seen what he can do with 63 workers. Meanwhile, we do see Burrow is forced, and there's detection with the army.
Yeah, the Observer is right there, and even the Ravagers get trapped right between these force fields, and suddenly this Roach army is not all that intimidating.
The Queen was trying to focus down the Observer, but the Observer barely did survive in the end, and Creator, he's able to shut this down, push on forward with this overwhelming army. He's looking to straight up end it as well.
Yeah, has to be careful about this bridge though, because he's getting a little bit stuck in this bias, and he better not use too many units to it, and he should be able to deny the space.
Yeah, he rotates over to the fourth base instead, and he will get a kill on this fourth. He warps in a massive wave of units, and now he can bypass that bridge, head towards the third. Serral thinking about maybe going for a counterattack, and he does, in fact, deny mining here at the third base, but can he deal with the main army?
Yeah, Creator has to be very careful about the micro, as the Immortals are getting focused. One of them is quite low already, and he should be able to get a lot of these roaches, but is it quite enough? There are still bios raining down.
Yeah, Creator, he took a lot of bios to the face. He has one Immortal left. It's not going to be enough. GG gets called, and Serral defends. He takes game 2 and the series 2-0.
Yeah, that was really nice from Serral, considering he suffered a lot of damage. A lot of damage on the beginning of the game. Like these Glaive Adepts like killed a lot of workers, and yet he was able to come back from that.
GG, that was very close. Towards the end there, I don't know if you saw, but Creator, he lost 25 workers. Creator was all in, very all in. Why? Because of those tunneling claw roaches. They counterattacked. They didn't just deny mining at the third. They forced to kill or cancel on the third base, and they even got into the natural as well. If it wasn't for those roaches going for the counterattack, then Creator could have like backed off and kept playing out from there, you know, getting his third up and running, and the game would have progressed. But Serral just kind of forced him into that really awkward position, and yeah, GG.
Yeah, GG. Very well played from Serral, and we'll have two great players in the final. As the finals, that means it will be Oliveira versus Serral, so definitely two great players. But before we get to that, a quick shout out to Steelmort for gifting a sub to Steelmort.
Thank you so much, Steel Mold, for gifting us up to Steel Mold. I'm shaking my head. Shaking.
Okay, Heto.
Este stick. Oh god. The Duckling, all the Ducklings getting their subs today. Kuro, Steel Mold, and Yaku. You love to see it. Aye. But yeah, with that, GG, well played again. Really solid play coming out from Serral, despite being in a really bad position, a really rough position. He was able to bring it all back, was able to, yeah, somehow maintain control of that game. And with that, we have our grand finals before us. It's going to be an interesting one.